Hey guys, my name is Sergey and welcome to a big update on our roguelike card game development journey. In this video, we'll talk about the game idea in depth, but if you want just a quick summary, you can either skip to this time or click on an alternative summary video. Link is also in the description. Some time ago, I made a video where I explained the basics of roguelike card games and encouraged you to contribute ideas to make our game fun and unique. I've taken some of your suggestions on board and put together a game idea. Of course, we won't know for sure whether the game is fun until we play it, so we may still tweak things around. First thing, I want to quickly mention one of the possible themes of the game. It's too early to make a final decision on the theme, but mentioning it will help with my explanation of game mechanics. So let's imagine that the game is taking place during medieval times and our main protagonist is an adventurous knight. Let's explore the gameplay elements. In most roguelike card games, you can upgrade your cards to a limited extent. In our card game, I suggest a much deeper card progression system. You can upgrade your cards unlimited amount of times by combining them with the same card with no increase in cost, almost as if you're finessing your knight's skills. For the gameplay, it means that you might sometimes be incentivized to pick up a basic card over a high quality card, for example, if you're going for a strategy to maximize your upgrades. You can also combine different cards, as if you're learning new skills from the existing ones, but it comes at additional cost. And here's where things get quite interesting, because you suddenly become the true master of your card journey. You literally get to craft your own cards and your own adventure. You can try any craziest combination you want, but remember, not all of them will lead you to victory. We also want to give players more opportunities to customize their deck, and that's why another important element of gameplay is free roaming around the map. Unlike many other games where the paths are linear, here you can choose to visit places in any order you want. So maybe you want to challenge yourself to more monsters, or maybe you want to visit Forge to make more upgrades. But doesn't it sound a bit too nice? You take all your starting cards, you visit a Forge a couple of times to combine them into one mega card that you use to plow through enemies like knife through butter. Well no, we also have other mechanics to balance out your decisions. Fatigue. Traveling around and fighting would take a physical toll on you. That's why whenever you travel too much or run out of cards in combat, you will start getting fatigue cards, which will impair your ability to fight. Now you're faced with a trade-off, whether it's worth traveling so much but arriving in the fight tired, and whether it's worth having a small strong deck but risks getting overrun with fatigue cards during the combat. Another important mechanic to mention: just like you're a combatant, you're also a traveler, which means that you have to carry all your belongings with you. For the game, it means that all the gameplay elements that you might have been taken for granted, like gold, potions, artifacts, are now cards, and they have to be a part of your deck. But you're a knight, so you very likely have a companion, a loyal horse, who can help you carry a limited amount of cards that you don't immediately need in combat. But you can still access those cards at any time during combat, which adds an interesting dynamic to the fight. And the last, but definitely not the least, is Barter Economy. Back in the days, common currency was not always available, so people traded goods for goods. Similarly in our game, in order to get anything from the world, you will need to trade your own cards for it. Need a heal? Toss a card in the healing fire. Need better cards? Please trade your own cards for it. In this system, the value of a card goes beyond just the combat, so you need to take this into consideration when building your deck or combining your cards. Let's have a recap of the gameplay elements. We have a standard roguelike card game adventure as the foundation, but with the following elements to make the game fun and unique. First, we can combine cards. Combine the same cards to increase its strength, or combine different cards to create new effects. We can roam the map freely in any direction, giving us more flexibility for deck building and choosing your own adventure. However, we can start getting fatigue cards in our deck if traveled excessively, or if our deck is too small and we keep running out of cards in combat. Another element of the gameplay is that we don't have a separate notion of potions, artifacts, or even gold anymore. They're all now represented by cards, thus creating positive or negative synergies with the other gameplay elements. To help with that circumstance, we have a little companion, a horse, that can hold some of our items in combat that we can access at any time, thus adding a new dynamic to the fight. And finally, with Barter Economy, we now have to trade cards from our deck whenever we want to get anything from the world, be it a heal, a merchant purchase, or anything else. All these gameplay elements are supposed to interact with each other to provide a series of choices for the player. Would you like a smaller deck? A larger deck? Should you hoard all your money cards? Should you travel a bit further but risk getting fatigued? Which cards should the horse hold during combat? Hopefully, these choices, along with the regular deck building and card fighting mechanics, will make the game fun for the player. So what is our next step? We're currently not equipped to implement these ideas straight away because we're missing the deck building component of the game, so we will focus on building that first. Meanwhile, please let me know what you think of this idea. I'll also put up a discussion on Reddit and link it in the description. I'm sure we're gonna go through a series of variations and iterations, but the most important thing is that the game must be fun. And if it's not, we will learn from this and come up with something different. But for now, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.